Hi everybody, Deepnausea here. I'm going to start off my loadouts with my favourite ship at the moment. I'm loving what we call Brick Life, which is the Jutland. Jutland, one of the most armoured ships you can get, but also the slowest. I know with different sort of dreadnoughts you can pick and choose certain modules, but there's one module that the Jutland should probably always keep, and that will be, and will always be, the warp jump. It is so slow that it's just easier to use your warp jump to go forward. Now, this is my close combat build, my favourite build to use. What I'm using at the moment is we obviously have the repeaters upgraded. The repeaters are going to be used a heck of a lot because the style of this build is to jump up close, and especially jump up too close to healers and get them dealt with very quickly. I use repeaters a lot more, and when they're on reload, that's when I switch to my ballistic cannons just while they're reloading and switch back again. My favourite devastating weapon at the moment would be the ballistic broadsides. Complete favourites. It just seems to be when you bash that button, their health just starts zooming to nothing, and I love it. Completely love it. This is room for a few people have different ideas what you do. A few people like to use sort of missiles, medium range torpedoes. I like using the flechette because it's got such a short cooldown, and a little bit later in I tell you the briefings, you can fire them more often. The range doesn't matter because you're going to be so close to them anyway. It just feels like a constant spam that you're able to do. Now, I use armor boost. Now, what you do is a tactic is you get up close when, especially if you've got a dreadnought and they've got a healer behind them, I would target the healer, jump in. The minute you jump in, smash armor boost. You basically become very difficult to kill for X amount of seconds, and in that time you just unleash your broadsides, your flechettes, and you're constantly firing those repeater guns, and you're constantly going for it. Definitely upgrade the warp jump, because the warp jump you get to start off with only lets you jump to allies or jump forward. This one you can jump to allies and enemies. It makes it very, very easy. Also with warp jump, and this is a tactic that I forget about, keep an eye on your surroundings. If you start getting hit a lot and you're looking at your health going under 50%, starting to go down, you know, people like Grimmhammer, the mentors, would say, look, target one of your friends, walk back. I have a bad habit of literally fighting toe-to-toe, and if I'm going to die but I'm going to take you down with me, I end up doing that. That's not the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. Now on to the officer briefings. I use Retaliator. Now, when my shields take damage, it reduces the cooldowns of a module, so you're looking at, as you're there, when your armor boost wears off and you fire up your shields, the more hits you take, the quicker your ballistic broadsides and your flechettes and your armor boost reset. Now, to combat this, if you keep using the ballistic broadsides often enough, it will turn around to you and say they're overheating and you have to wait a little bit longer. It's obviously to make it so it's not so OP. That's what I use. Personally, I have not unlocked some of the things for the weapon officer briefing. There's one I'm looking to get where when you're under 50%, your reloads are 50% quicker. Reduces the sort of reload time by 50%. Now think about it this way, you're in the middle of a fight, you're getting hit hard, you're dealing a lot of damage. The idea that the kind of more damaged you are, the more deadly you become, because you're already getting your cooldowns refreshed quickly. It just, I love the idea of it, but I need to go down the right tree to get to that point. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. The effect is a passive. It's a damage resistance of plus 10%. And movement speed minus 10%. Now, when you move forward, it's like you stood still. So going any slow isn't going to make any more difference because you're too slow anyway. As for the damage resistance, when you fire up things like your armor boost, it literally feels like you become invulnerable for about 8 seconds. 8 or 9 seconds, it feels like you just cannot be killed. It's pretty good when you first zoom in there and everybody kind of freaks out and try and blows their cooldowns on you. I mean, how I play is to get rid of the healers, and sometimes when you're in that stalemate situation, me jumping into the middle of them all, I might die. But everybody in that fleet panics and fires at me. If they're firing at me, they're not firing at the fleet behind them, and they can concentrate fire. There's been times where I've done this, gone forward, I may have died, but my whole fleet has pushed, and we've taken them over. And for me, killing one and dying myself, for the whole fleet now pushing and taking them all down, it's what I like to do. And I also use... I've got a choice here. I'm a bit 50-50 on it. There's getting my good side. When I take damage to the sides, I gain energy, which obviously is beneficial to keeping my shield up. There's also reinforcement there. It increases your HP, but slows your cooldowns, but your cooldowns also being refreshed. So that's kind of up to yourself, but that's the one I use. So I do need to get one more thing, which will be the weapon module. But that's what I like to do. And that is my build, and that's what you probably find me on most of the times. And that's where you usually see me. I've got a secondary build, which I'll talk to you another time. Also, a lot of the stuff I've talked to you about, I found out a lot myself because it's my first time exploring. But the other parts, the holes in my build, were basically filled in by Grimmhammer. Grimmhammer, I'll chuck a link down below as well. Amazing streamer, amazing mentor. He does mentoring streams where he'll pick a certain class or a certain vehicle, show you what they are, show you what you can do, show you different builds. And it's definitely someone to keep. If you're into Dreadnought, definitely someone to keep in your sort of follow list. And like I said, I'll chuck that below. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. Give me a subscribe. Jump on my Twitch and bash that follow button if you can. I'll be back on more for some more loadouts that I love to use. Take care, guys.